April is Autism Awareness Month. Awareness about a complex, lifelong neurological condition. Autism shows itself in a wide range of behaviors, which most people just don't understand.
Autism can affect social skills, communication, the ability to self-regulate, and the spectrum can go from mild and high functioning to extreme cases, which can involve self-harm. Families faced with autism look for ways to be a part of the broader community and to keep their loved ones safe, but it's hard.
So now, a new idea is emerging, created by a Fremont couple I spent time with who have an autistic child. You might not immediately recognize that someone is on the autism spectrum, and when some of the behaviors are revealed, you may not understand what's going on. Misbah and Carrie Rich have an autistic son named Joshua.
Are you ready to eat?
And they know that people on the autism spectrum can at times become overstimulated by too many sights and sounds, react erratically, or shut down altogether, particularly in public settings.
We have to really think and plan when we're going out in public with him, because we don't know what to expect sometimes. And then we have to plan in case he does have a meltdown in public. We know what that looks like, but for a stranger, they may not be able to, they may not understand that.
He's kind of like looking like this and he's moving around, and then all of a sudden, it's like he's overwhelmed. And he doesn't know, and he doesn't know what to do.
Many behaviors by someone on the spectrum can easily be misinterpreted. And as their son grew and his behaviors were revealed, Misbah and Carrie Rich decided to start the nonprofit foundation called Joshua's Gift to help families cope, offering support, resources, and options for family activities. But as their son has gotten older, a new concern evolved. Joshua is now 20, but his cognitive ability is age 4. So now, imagine there is an emergency situation.
Having a son, a black son with autism, raises the level of fear when a stranger makes a call to the police who may not be familiar with his behaviors.
We were concerned that that could be a real bad, outcome for him. So we thought, this is an opportunity to educate again, to try to develop relationships with first responders.
And that's why they recently created a new program called Code Joshua. It has two components.
Let me see what you did here.
Number one is reaching out and educating first responders about autism and what it looks like. The Riches worked with Inclusion Films. And with the help of the San Jose Police Department, put together an educational video. Producer Joey Travolta, a former special education teacher whose nephew was on the autism spectrum, proudly points out.
You got a camera here, you got sound, you got people back there that did the lighting, all on the spectrum. And a lot of people don't believe that people on the spectrum can do that.
Has any of you been called to in response to a person on the autism spectrum?
We have recently, our team has.
An opportunity to make people aware that some people on the autism spectrum are different and behave differently.
I'm also the father of a very rambunctious autistic son, and I don't want the police to misinterpret his erratic actions or his lack of speech or resisting arrest.
Part 2 of Code Joshua is a family registry system. Here's how it would work. Families would register with local first responders under Code Joshua, deciding what information they want to include, such as a picture and behaviors.
For our son, his stemming is the flapping of the hands, or he may, or lots of loud vocalization, or he may just plug his ears, or he might run away from an officer.
And not follow commands.
And not follow commands because he doesn't understand the commands.
If Code Joshua is put into motion, the process would kick in even before the emergency crews leave the station. Dispatch would send the information right to their computers.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
My son ran away from home, and he's severely autistic and he's nonverbal.
Is he registered with Code Joshua?
San Francisco Fire is also interested in exploring Code Joshua.
Just imagine, they're in a fire building, okay, and we're trying to extricate them out of a fire building. With folks on the spectrum, they're on sensory overload as it is, okay? When we respond to calls, we come in with lights, siren, oftentimes wearing gloves. That is just all very overwhelming for those folks. Education is everything.
Your family's family, whether it was autism or cerebral palsy, whatever it is, they're your family, you love them, and you want to protect them, keep them safe. What we ultimately find is, people, when they know, they're very understanding and helpful, but you have to educate them so they know.
Yeah.
The Joshua's Code idea is still being introduced to Bay Area first responders, and the initial reactions have been positive.
The Rich family hopes that one day the idea goes nationwide and maybe even expands to encompass other developmental disabilities, but of course that's a long-range goal.
So right now, if you would like to donate, if you'd like to support Joshua's Gift and learn more about Code Joshua, just go to the website joshuasgift.org. And during the piece, you may have noticed a colleague of ours at Channel 2, Dave Clark, has a son who's autistic. He has been very supportive of Joshua's Gift and this whole project to educate everybody about autism.
Well, pardon me, let's hope this work
Yeah, so
expands.
Hope it works.
Still to come, 2 suspects